fully committed to combat in country, the American command soon realized they were up against a much better equipped foe than the Ragtag Guerillas first thought to be operating in the South. The destruction of an arms-laden North Vietnamese supply ship in early 1965 illustrated the scope of the communist resupply effort.
I flew up there, and the amount of supplies on that trawler was greatly exceeded our expectations of what the enemy could do. I mean, it was just chock-a-block with ammunition and K-47s and anti-tank, hand-carried anti-tank weapons, PRT-7s. And it became evident at that time that a major share of their supplies, and we estimated 70%, were coming by sea.
Intelligence indicated that the enemy was mounting a two-pronged seaborne infiltration campaign. Large steel-hulled supply trawlers were coming down well clear of the coast, then making a perpendicular dash into the beach. Less obvious than the trawlers, seagoing junks loaded with arms were paralleling the coast, mingling with legitimate native traffic until able to deliver their cargo. To stem the flow, a joint U.S. South Vietnamese interdiction campaign was organized. Coastal surveillance centers set up, and 4 maritime patrol zones established. Stretching over 1,700 miles, from the DMZ in the north to the Cambodian border in far southwest, the area of operations extended out over 40 miles from shore. Tasked with stopping enemy seaborne infiltrators hidden in a swarm of civilian merchant and marketing vessels, the effort was christened, naturally enough, Operation Market Time. By the first week of April 1965, 28 ships were assigned. Destroyers, minesweepers, and aircraft from the 7th Fleet, aided by land-based patrol bombers and the South Vietnamese junk force, took on the first patrols. But the big warships drew too much water to get in close, where most of the enemy traffic was. With no effective shallow draft patrol boats on hand, the Navy turned to the U.S. Coast Guard for help. Always prepared, the Coast Guard responded with the dispatch of 17 Point-class WPB patrol craft. Originally designed for search and rescue duties along the U.S. coast, the 82-foot WPBs were steel-hulled, displacing about 65 tons and drawing a mere 5.5 feet when fully loaded. Well armed, with a top speed of 18 knots and a reputation for seaworthiness, the WPBs were a perfect interim solution for equipping the early inshore patrols. Within a few weeks, the first WPBs were in country and on patrol. Out to sea, the deep draft ships and aircraft were setting into a routine of surveillance and interdiction.
Clean cut. This is Bluebird 30.
Large cargo junk, position X-ray, Romeo 7386.
Request surface units investigate.
Almost overnight, Operation Market Time had blossomed into a huge undertaking. On 30 July, the Coastal Surveillance Force was officially established as U.S. Navy Task Force 115.